It's lovely for me to have this opportunity to commend Mission Sunday to all of you. There's a little bit of history to this. We're now a single diocese of Tuam, Limerick and Killaloe, but over the years in the Limerick and Killaloe part of the diocese there has been a special Sunday known as Mission Sunday at the very end of the church year, the Sunday before Advent, which this year is November the 20th. We will, over the next few years, be converging our endeavours in terms of outreach and witness with our friends in Tuam. But this particular year, in anticipation of, I think, a shared project next year, we are carrying forward some ideas we have had at the Limerick and Killaloe end of the diocese in terms of what I might call home mission and witness. The pattern has been to deal with an overseas cause every second year and then to emphasise some aspect of local need to which Christian disciples should generously respond in the other year. Next year, with the help of our friends in the Bishop's Appeal, we will be working therefore across the whole diocese on projects concerned with the empowerment of women through literacy in the developing world. But meanwhile, back to this year. You don't need me to tell you of the pressures facing society at the moment. Food banks, rising fuel bills, challenges in clothing one's children, difficulty in paying for utilities, keeping warm in the winter, despite, we acknowledge, the support that the state is providing. There are many people on our own doorsteps in our own communities who would have never expected to need to depend on others to keep going through the winter, who are under dire pressure this year. And so, as part of our duty of Christian solidarity, we're appealing to members of the diocese to pray hard and give generously in order to deal with the poverty and the need and the pressure that's on our doorsteps as winter begins. We all, as I say, know what we're facing. And we have decided to work with two excellent agencies in order to help us make our own small contribution to addressing the need around us. One is called Protestant Aid, the other is the very well-known Society of St. Vincent de Paul. I'll say more about the two of them very briefly in a moment, and I know on other aspects of this presentation you'll hear directly from those who work with them. But what I would want to stress as we approach Mission Sunday, with its challenge to look out and to be generous on the edge of Christmas and of a new church year, what I would want to say is it's all about informed prayer and prayerful action. They go together. We need to pray hard about the needs of the world, and in God's strength we need to be willing to be the answer to our own prayers. There's no point praying to God about combating poverty unless you're prepared in God's grace and in God's strength to be the Amen to your own prayers. So the way to be the Amen to your own prayers this year will be through your generous commitment to and support of St. Vincent de Paul and Protestant Aid. Both of them, from different traditions and histories in a way, are doing the same thing. Discreetly, efficiently, sensitively coming to the practical need, the practical aid of those whose needs are great and upon whom the pressures are large at the moment. We all in Ireland know about the wonderful work of St. Vincent de Paul all over the country in discreetly identifying the needs of families, people under pressure, people with arrears, people faced with a mounting number of bills. We know their capacity to help people feel less under pressure and to work to organise their finances. St. Vincent de Paul originally came from the Roman Catholic tradition. Now the society works wonderfully ecumenically across all of Irish society. Equally, Protestant Aid, and I think sometimes its name is unfortunate, came from the Reformed tradition. It was once, in my child, known as the Association for the Relief of Distressed Protestants, using the word distressed in its old sense, not of people who were weeping and wailing necessarily, but people who were under economic and financial stress. It used to be very much about the Protestant community, as it were, looking after its own. Nowadays, it's quite different. Protestant Aid, despite the history of its name, is an umbrella organisation by which the churches of the Reformed tradition work together in practical ways, not just to look after people in their own parishes who are under pressure, although they do that, but to look much more widely into the needs of society. So, as you approach Christmas, think hard and give well as we think of the need that is around us, our mission to a needy world, and through these organisations, the capacity to make a difference. And if I were to give one little hint, it would be, think of what you spend on a Christmas present for someone very close to you. And don't let your generosity to those whose names you don't know but whose needs are great be any less. It is important to keep our giving and our solidarity with a proper sense of proportion. Enjoy Advent and Christmas, respond to Mission Sunday, and be, please, the Amen to your own prayers.
Hello, my name is Jeff Scargill, and I speak to you today as Head of Charitable Services at Protestant Aid. And many thanks to Bishop Michael for his words. He has always had a great understanding and empathy for the work that we do. As suggested by the Bishop, our reach goes far beyond that of the Protestant community, and our programmes are diverse. We help with educational expenses, general annuities, heating annuities, third-level interest-free loans, and what I regard as our flagship programme, general grants. We receive applications through clergy, social workers, usually from HSE or TUSLA, as well as through organisations such as Simon, Alone, Bernardo's, Peter McVerry, Focus Ireland, Jack and Jill Foundation, various women's refuges throughout the country, and indeed numerous other organisations who have the knowledge and expertise to identify need. And I can tell you that need is more present and vicious than ever. Nor is it confined to what we might have traditionally regarded as the needier sections of our community. We have seen throughout the course of the year where the bite of financial distress has affected those homes who have been conventionally very financially stable. Neither is financial distress confined to the unemployed. With soaring rents and increased mortgage rates, well, these have thrown many a family budget into disarray. All of this is reflected in the number of general grant applications that we have received this year. Social work applications alone are up 30% to the end of October. And we have allocated more in grants to the end of October than in the entirety of any previous full year, with the last year being the exception. We encounter a variety of situations that are a paper-thin application removed from us. Some examples from just one meeting recently. A mother aged 56 with children who is battling cancer, now terminal. Her husband deserted the family some years ago, and she's worried about paying an electricity bill. A retired couple in their 70s, one with terminal lung cancer, struggling to pay their heating bills. A single unemployed woman suffering from poor mental health, who is vulnerable to exploitation, struggling with household expenses. Unemployed parents whose 4-year-old child needs an assessment before he can start school and receive the appropriate supports. Yet the waiting list for that assessment is 2 years. A grandmother who is caring for her disabled daughter and 2 of her grandchildren, struggling with bills. All of these are real cases where Protestant Aid were able to bring some help. And that help is certainly not confined to the Protestant community, but is given regardless. These are dark situations, but Protestant Aid is about light, not about darkness. And because of your help, we can shine a light on the darkest of difficult situations and bring relief where there is struggle and stress. For that, we are very grateful. Thank you.
The Society of St. Vincent de Paul was founded in Paris in 1833 and in Ireland in 1844. My name is Teresa Ryan, Regional President of Society Midwest. Clare, Limerick, Tipperary and Offaly are the areas that I cover. In the Midwest, we have 1,000 volunteers, 116 local conferences, 64 social housing units and 22 shops. We support 64 community employment places as well. We have in Limerick the drop-in centre, which provides 175 meals to people who are homeless, and also provides shower, laundry and most of all friendship on a daily basis. We also have the Young SVP, which provided support in schools. We visited 23 schools, and this is growing, and over 2,300 students were supported. We visit extra vulnerable groups, including prisoners and their families, asylum seekers and long-term patients in hospital. We have provided over 2,000 educational bursaries. Home visitation, and I'd like to mention from a personal perspective that this is an area where I continue to engage in, which is very important, and I feel privileged to be able to go into people's homes under the invitation from themselves for support and help. People are facing very, very difficult situations at the moment, and it has worsened in the past year particularly. And you know that we would try to alleviate some of their stress, providing friendship and support and listening to what their issues are and seeing if we can assist them in that way. We received over 12,000 calls for assistance from January to August 2022. SBP structured with volunteers in leadership roles, and it's volunteer led. We are very much aware of social justice, and we ensure that where we see social injustice, that it's highlighted at the highest level and that we try to influence government policy. 2022 moving forward, we hope to engage more new members. We need members to come, and if there's anybody listening who might like to join us, we'd be delighted. We will increase our spend on education because this helps people to get off the road of poverty into good jobs. And we would hope to develop further the Young SVP and to keep highlighting social justice issues at the local and higher level. And I wish to thank donors most sincerely for without you, we could not do the work, and may God bless you and keep you all safe. Thank you.